When you think about why people overcurve the golf ball, you can have a hand path that goes down then out, have a hand path that's good and then up, or you can carry too much angle too long. And I think you're that last one. What we notice, decent early backswing, right? Nothing too crazy. I think if that was the top of your golf swing, yes, you would hit it really well. I really do.
And it's always been long. Like there's been very few times. And
so what happens is, see, now we have all this angle, and because you have a lot of angle, there's a lot of. I mean, it's still not. I mean, that club's still behind your body, and then here it comes, right? Yep. And it's just hard sometimes, and you can see the club trying to overtake because of it. So I really want to just keep diving into getting this tighter here.
Yep.
So you can be wider sooner, so you can take curve off the golf ball.
Right.
So the question is, how little pressure can you put on this thing? And what happens with your swing is there's a lot of good, and then it runs, and when it runs, it gets laggy. When it gets laggy, it gets sharp at the ball, and that creates longer the club, the greater you're at risk. So can you take it to the top and have that barely touching? It's going to touch. Yeah. But can you have that barely touching and swing? Because if I do, I mean, that ball's got no curve on it, does it? And as you hit this, it's going to be really hard to overcurve a ball doing that. Yeah, it's really hard. Do it again. I don't care how big of a swing. You can make the biggest swing you want. Let those hands travel. Okay. Just keep it as soft as you can on the swing guide. Just come take a look. We can see that club likes to get sharp. So these hands are at belt high, right? Look at how much more the club is out in front of you.
Yeah.
Now, you don't really know what to do with the club from there because you've never had it before, but think about that. See how that club is probably, what, 6 inches further behind you?
Oh, yeah.
That's sharpness. That's pressure into that swing guide. So how wide, how can you get that off, soft at the top, off as early as you can to create as much width as possible? Maybe this phrase will help you. I call it create and carry. In your old swing, you used to have a lot of what I would call carry and create, meaning you'd carry the club back, you'd create it at the top, you'd carry it on the way down, and you try to create at the bottom. With this, you're having to create, carry, create, carry. Well, that's the opposite of what you do. Create and carry. So we're going to get the swing guide on nice and soft. We're going to carry it to the top with our pivot. We're going to get it off and carry it through with our pivot. Oh, super cool. Because that literally is the opposite ball flight.
Right.
If anything, it bled a little too much to the right. But hey, you know what? For a guy who's seen a bunch of balls go way left, that's got to look great. Come take a look. I mean, this is worlds different than when you started. What we said is you had this tendency to have pretty good, swing shape. It's not bad. Man, wouldn't it be great if our club would just kind of stop there?
Right.
But it didn't. You had a lot of what we called carry, create, or a lot of people would say that club kept running.
Yeah.
And what would happen is you'd react by trying to carry that early, which then led you having to create at the bottom, and you would lose it, and you'd overcurve it, and club would get away from you. From here, we said, okay, what would, if you did, instead of carry, create, what if you went create, carry? And we said, okay, that would have us at the top looking way different.
Oh, yeah.
And then from there, you can create sooner in the downswing There's your hands at belt high.
Still
Right?
coming down, yeah.
And so now the club's more in front of you, more unhinged, whatever the word people want to use, which then allows you to do what? Carry instead of having to do this handsy action. And so now you're trying to carry. You see that club exit way lower than it did before.
I was going to say, that's crazy how much lower it is than normally my hands go up here by my head.
Right? We see this.
Yeah, there you go.
And so this one, and this is why now all of a sudden, if anything, the ball is going right instead of left. And so what we said was, let me see that club, we'll kind of review here, is we said, again, you had this tendency to carry, create, and it created the left ball.
Right.
Mostly with the longer clubs.
Yeah.
But if we can create, and again, swing guide even with the right form at address, that allows us to create earlier in the downswing, which then allows us to carry after. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good stuff.